Hey, shalom, shalom, hayawam tawab, which is a good day. Anak na waha bar, yasha Allah walakim la atam, kol shabuai baracha wa kaksho yahweh bahasham yahweh ma'amath, which is truly here with the Hebrew Israelites, coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh bahasham yahweh shah, to preach to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners. Nacham atam kaya, hamalak wath hashamayim, korah, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Call Layim La Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua Ba'asham Racha Kodash Wa Mashana Kabadim Zakwim Nawa Wa Mala'akim Shaw Yashala Zakwim Racha Gadawa Wa Chasa Wa Shalom Wa Barakim Laha Bachrim Shawha Gawi Yashal Shalom. All praise to the Most High Yahweh, which means he exists. Bahasham, in the name of Yahushua, delivers double honor to the elders and apostles of Israel, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, mercy, peace, and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom, which means peace. All right, so this lesson is entitled Dabar Chaya, which is to speak life. Dabar Chaya. All right, Dabar, which means to speak. Chaya is life. All right, because we're to speak life, because the scriptures say that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof, So whatever comes with what you're speaking, that's what you're going to ultimately receive. All right. So I want to read this, and then I got some notes I wrote down. It says, figure of speech, how the words we choose shape our lives. Words have power. Their meaning crystallizes perceptions that shape our beliefs, drive our behavior, ultimately create our world. The power arises from our emotional responses when we read, speak, or hear them. Just say the word fire while barbecuing or in the workplace or in a crowded theater, and you will get three completely different but powerful emotional and energetic reactions. Because if you say like fire when you barbecuing it, or they say barbecuing, but like when you cooking out, it's like, all right, it's all good. You say fire in the workplace, it's like, oh shit, It says, or in a crowded theater, everybody would probably run in that theater, which they're circumstantial, It can be circumstantial, but then also when you hear the word, it makes you feel a certain kind of way as well, It says, I got this. It says, words carry energy. Life is an energy flow more than a collection of things. So if we stay conscious of our energy, we can contain, if the spirit permits, we can make deliberate choices that alter our frequencies and create realities we desire, Salak. With a renewed perspective and a higher perspective, positive energetic vibration, we can bring good into our lives. We can uplift and improve our lives. All right. I'm going to skip down some in this article. It said words and water. It says Japanese scientist Masaru Emoto performed some of the most fascinating experiments on the effect that words have on energy in the 1990s, when frozen water that's free from all impurities will form beautiful ice crystals that look exactly like snowflakes under a microscope. Water that's polluted or has additives like fluoride will freeze without forming crystals. In his experiment, Emoto poured pure water into vials labeled with negative phrases like "I hate you" or "fear." After 24 hours, the water was frozen and no longer crystallized under the microscope. It yielded gray, misshapen clumps instead of beautiful lace-like crystals. In contrast, Emoto placed labels that said things like "I love you" or "peace" on vials of polluted water. After 24 hours, they produced gleaming, perfect hexagonal crystals. Emoto's experiments proved that the energy generated by positive and negative words can actually change the physical structure of an object. The results of his experiments were detailed in a series of books, beginning with the hidden messages in water, where you can see the astounding before and after photos of these incredible water crystals, which a lot of times, Esau understands the power of words, so he got this drink, and it's in the gas station, but it's called Liquid Death, which is water, but by placing different labels on stuff, you actually give life to it, or you give it death, and ultimately you can change the physical structure of it, just like if you was to name a group of people, how he did with us, ultimately he got Jake thinking that he's actually black, because the power of words, when you read it, all right, and then also if you place it like as a label, like when you go into Esau's entertainment and like his food industry. You know, a lot of stuff he puts labels on them. You know, and it can actually change the physical structure of that particular item. You know, so i.e., you know, fish in a fish store, or no, dogs in a like a, I don't know, a pet store. You know, so the actual word for dog is kalab, Bahalashwan Kodash, kalab. All right, that's dog. All right, za dog, Bahalashwan Kodash, that's dog. And the Hebrew tongue, the ancient Paleo Hebrew. All right, but nevertheless, dog is how you say fish. All right, so ultimately giving that vibration to, you know, another animal, you know, it does something to that animal, you know, which that's why the scriptures say, if life was to continue on, no flesh will be saved. And that's ultimately because of how Esau runs everything. You know, everything is surviving, it's not thriving like it was supposed to. All right, so it says the power of gratitude. It says in another experiment Emoto tested the power of spoken words. He placed 2 cups of cooked white rice in 2 separate mason jars and fixed the lids in place, labeling one jar "Thank you" and the other "You fool." The jars were left in an elementary school classroom, and the students were instructed to speak the words on the labels to the corresponding jars twice a day. After 30 days, the rice in the jar that was constantly insulted had shriveled into a black gelatinous mass. The rice in the jar that was thanked was as white and fluffy as the day it was made. The dramatic example of the power of words is also detailed in Emoto's books. All right, and this is not the only article that I went into or that I found, but this is just one of the few. But actually, this article is going to get into it. Salak. All right, read this. It says, how many times a day do we throw away our words? We say things like, I hate my hair, I'm stupid, I'm a klutz. We never think that these words bring negative energy into our vibration and affect us on a physical level, but they do. Emoto's experiments were conducted with water. Why? Because sound vibration travels through water 4 times faster than it does through open air, which it says sound vibration because what you notice is like you got something called vocal cords in your throat. You see, so how it produces sound is the sound comes from whatever gland produces the speech, and it vibrates on those different chords, and then it produces a sound. All right, and the sound essentially traveling through water, just like this article is going to say. It says, consider the fact that your body is over 70% water. You'll understand how quickly the vibration from negative words resonates in your cells. Ancient scriptures tell us that life and death are in the power of the tongue. As it turns out, that's not a metaphor. And your body is it's like 75% water. So being that water was labeled, oh, this is what you are. You see what I'm saying? Like if you was to actually speak it, you know, it gives a certain vibration to the water in your body, and in turn, the physical structure of yourself ultimately changes because it makes you feel a certain kind of way, those different words. Like if you read something, you know, you might be like, oh, like you say you get a bill or something, you like, well, shit, you know, you get a bill, or you read just any, because words have power, you know, it makes you feel a certain kind of way, you know. And also, like when you read from left to right, that actually makes your brain work harder. All right. So it says, some of us are in the habit of using the same negative words over and over again out of habit. This problem is that we hear, read, or speak a word or phrase. The more we hear, speak, or read a word, the more power it has over us. This is because the brain uses repetition to learn, searching for patterns and consistency as a way to make sense of the world around us. Only after being burned a few times can we understand that fire is always hot. You may not remember the exact date of the Civil War, but odds are you still know what 8 times 9 is. Because Salah says you may not remember the exact end date of the Civil War, but odds are you still know what 8 times 9 is because you had to repeat multiplication tables over and over again, drilling it into your consciousness. I'm sure you experience having a song stuck in your head all day long, and try as you might, You can't get the melody out of your head. Repetition is the most powerful tool to imprint something into our minds and keep it there. All right, so then it says, these are things we can work on. It says, making words work. It says, consciously harness the power of words for your benefit. Start with the ones you're using. No name calling or self-criticism, which, take that with a grain of salt, because we got to examine ourselves. Pretty much going into, I'm going to read it. It says, everyone is doing the best they can at any moment in time with conscience they have to work with, including you. Be kind and offer yourself the same sympathy or empathy and compassion you extend to anyone else. But you got to be honest with yourself, So that's within balance. It says, stop all self-depreciation. Never make your body or something you've accomplished or anything in your life the butt of a joke. Words have power, and quantum energy doesn't have a sense of humor. Which this is applied in balance as well. But when you use like negative words, like you yourself is using it, you see, and it makes your body feel a certain kind of way, which we can apply to where it applies to. Number 4, I'm about to say verse 4, it says, resist gossiping and speaking ill of others, which the scriptures go into this. It says, go on a negativity diet, and ultimately we can, just attempt to speak better words. So it says, 6, boost the positive energy of words. Instead of saying something like you had a good time at a concert, ramp up the positive energy by saying great, terrific, or fantastic. Tawab, good. It says instead these feel much better and generate a bigger energetic response in the body, ultimately rising your vibration. It says if you have some negative nannies in your circle, it says limit the time you spend with them or find better friends. Negative energy has a way of dragging everything surrounding it in like a black hole. Avoid it when you can. Hey, that's why the scriptures say to when thou be amongst the indiscreet, observe the time, you see, because the words that they telling themselves in their mind is going to bring them down. So ultimately, we're vibrational creatures, So with the stones and stuff like that, you can pick up on different energies, and that energy is essentially going to weigh you down, and the words that they use. So it says surround yourself with positive, uplifting words. It says put affirmations on sticky notes around your home and office that say wonderful things about you, your family, or goals. Which I'm not going to finish that out, but I'm going to read this. Let's get some precepts. This is Mashoya's Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21. All right, and it reads, it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So death and life are in the power of the tongue. You can speak life or you can speak death, but ultimately, whatever you speak, you're going to get what that produces. All right. Because if you speak negativity into the air, it's going to have a certain effect on your body as well as those that's around you. You speak positivity, hey, you can do this. I can do this. Hey, Lord's willing, I can do this, and say it in Hebrew. The words that in Hebrew, say it in Hebrew because contrary to, popular belief of those in the world, ultimately, the vibration of Hebrew has a different vibration. Every letter has a certain frequency when it vibrates off of the vocal cords in the mouth or in the throat. All right, let's get this. This is Mashoya, Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 18. All right, it says, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth the slander is a fool. Hey, he's a fool, you see. Which that can go into he's a fool because he's pushing that negativity, that is slander. Your body doesn't know the difference, and then ultimately, first and foremost, it's bad to slander your neighbor. A slander goes into a false report. That's a fool. All right, let's get this. This is Bon Sirach, chapter 32, verse 8. It says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much, and few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue. You see, because your words, using many words, are ultimately your words have the power to create. It's gonna create different energies. It's gonna make you feel a certain kind of way. That's ultimately why. Going back to the point or what they used to say in the world. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. You know, pretty much be mindful of your speech. All right, let me get this. This is Bon Sirach, chapter 28. And verse 25, it says, and weigh thy words in a balance and make a door and bar for thy mouth. All right, because you're going to be condemned or justified in the words that you speak. You know, that's why that article said go on a negativity fast. All right, I'm going to get that real fast. This is Mark chapter 9 and verse 29, which it shouldn't be a fast. It should be more so a lifestyle. You know, it says, and he said unto them, this is Mark 9 and 29, and he said unto them, this kind can come forth by nothing but by prayer and fasting. You know, ultimately actual dry fast and a prayer, you see, and then also fasting from just the words that you use, being mindful of the words that we use, to build those good habits, those positive words. All right, let's get this. This is Matthew chapter 12 and verse 37. It says, for by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Ultimately going into Proverbs 18 and 21, it said, life and death is in the power of the tongue, and they that love shade the fruit thereof. All right, and then at times, speak them positive words, but sometimes spiritually, these positive words can look like this. This is Mashal, Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. It says, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So sometimes you might have to, supplant, and use wisdom to get up out of a situation, That's ultimately speaking life as well. This is Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 29. And it says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. All right, ultimately going into pushing this truth, you see. But then it can also be applied to having that good speech, speaking positivity, because that vibration is going to go to those that's around you and then yourself. Your body is made up of 70%, more than 70% of water. And just like that water was labeled negative words like I hate you, and then the other one had peace. Though both of those words, even though it's in English, they ultimately have a vibration to it, Let's get Dahoyim Psalms, chapter 57. In verse 4, it says, my soul is among lions, and I lie even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue a sharp sword. Hey, so your tooth, not your tooth, your tongue can be used as a weapon. That's what Esau does. He uses it as a weapon. He speaks death. All right, that's why the scriptures say their mouth is as an open sepulcher. Roughly paraphrasing, this is Psalm chapter 59, in verse 7. It says, behold, they belch out with their mouth, swords are in their lips. For who say they doeth hear? And that's how the wicked feels. They feel as if the Lord isn't watching, but the Lord is watching. All right, let's get this one as well. This is Dahoyim Psalms chapter 64 and verse 3. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. All right, ultimately going to how they speak. All right, speaking at that negativity, and this comes out in their laws. All right, how they ultimately speak. It has a vibration, that affects the people. All right, this is because a true ruler is going to speak life to his people. All right, this is This is James chapter 3 and verse 5, and it reads, it says, even so the tongue is a little member and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth, and the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. All right, so it setteth on fire the course of nature. So it says, for every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of the things of the sea, is tamed and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. All right, and those that's ultimately using it for those purposes, talking a lot, not watching the words that they speak, they're ultimately speaking death. All right, being that the tongue can do all of these things, we should be mindful of the words that we use, and if the words that we do use, they gotta be life. So let's get I want to get this. This is John. John chapter 2 and verse 17. It says verse 18. Verse 15. Oh, it's a lot. 21. This is John 21. It says, John 21 and 15. So when they had dined, Yahushua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua said unto him, Feed my sheep. You see, so ultimately going into the brain, and ultimately for the scriptures say that the things that are written for our learning. That's ultimately to see the repetition, the importance of feeding the sheep. That's ultimately how the brain works. Going back to that article, it said repetition. So and also going into Peter, it was for him to know, hey, feed the sheep, because the scriptures say that that upon the church, it was going to be built upon Peter. With repetition, like the apostles go into, that's the father of skill, because it's also how your brain absorbs everything. I want to read this. This is Ha'alat Bayath. The alphabet are 22 building blocks of creation. There are symbols, Awath, that's how you say symbols or signs. It says describing fields of consciousness. Each expresses an energy intelligence holding the specific attributes and animated by a very powerful spiritual force, which that spiritual force, I got this from an article. I can't remember what article it was, but that spiritual force is the Lord, Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua. It says each letter has a word, number, shape, and sound poured into the world. The letters act in a way to those that observe or visualize them to suggest associations capable of enriching the sphere of influence on different levels: spiritual, mental, emotional, and energetic. So when you reading different things, or if you read in English, not being over righteous, but it does have an effect, because if you read it from left to right, you read it from left to right, and then you look at the different characters, it make you feel a certain kind of way, So it says, it allows for stillness. So when you read, like if you was meditating, going into the alphabet, it says it allows for stillness and silence in meditation. So just to clear your mind, you can start ba ga da ha wa za, because it occupies your mind, and it allows for your mind to have stillness and peace, like the scriptures say in Psalms 46 and 10. Let's get that. This is Tahoyim, Psalms 46 and verse 10. And it reads, it says, Be still and know that I am the Most High. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. So if we ever meditating, Harapawa or Rapa, it says to relax, to withdraw, casting our cares on the Lord, but to clear your mind, ultimately, we can read Ha'alat Bayat, the alphabet. All right, let's get this. This is Matthatiah, chapter 17, Matthew 17 and verse 20. And it says, Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. All right, I want to read that because it says it allows for stillness and silence and meditation. This allows spiritual illumination. The numerical value describes its vibration, because all the words, when they go off the vocal cords, it has a vibration to it, and the letter sound is a storage of the specific spiritual power. So it's a spiritual power in understanding the alphabet, because when the world was framed, it was created through Halashwan Kodash. All right. So it says one should understand the letters to understand the messages in the teachings the words contain. The power speaks to you even if you can't read them. So if you was just to see Paleo Hebrew, if you can't even read it, if you look at it, it make you feel a certain kind of way, even those without understanding, and also going into, it says one should understand the letters to understand the messages. Because if you take different words, all right, you don't necessarily got to know what that specific word is going into. You could take the words and the letters, all right, they each carry a specific meaning, all right, and it gives you the understanding of what that word is going into. For example, if you took the word God, Gad, all right, God goes into the foot, all right, God, that goes into a door, that goes into a troop, the door moves back and forth. God goes into the foot, so troops move back and forth. That's Gad, because Gad, his name goes into to invade, and also to be fortunate. All right, let's get this. This is Mashoya, Proverbs, chapter 14. We get verse 26. It says, "And the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge." Because ultimately, one could use the Lashon Kodash, you see, but it all goes back to the faith. You got to believe on the scriptures. You got to believe on Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, But it ultimately goes back to the faith, through the fear of the Lord is strong confidence. And that's ultimately what's going to build up that faith, because the word confidence, it coincides with the faith. All right, let's get Yaramia, Jeremiah chapter 23. Let's get verse 29. It says, "Is not my word like a fire? Is not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces?" Ultimately going into the legit word, you see. But then also it can be applied in a sense to the Halashwan Kodash, it's power in words, and if one has faith, those things can be granted through the spirit. All right, just using that speaking life, I got Salat. I'm gonna read this. It says, "Everything in creation is a vibration. No vibrations mean no energy. No energy means no mass, no existence. Everything vibrates. Everything can be compared to musical notes." It says if there was no vibration of the existing animal, then the animal won't exist. All right. Then it says the makeup of each creature is encoded in its name in Hebrew. All right. Everything vibrates and praises the Lord by tones in its vibration, which constantly sustains its existence. Trees, animals, and plants, etc. You see, because everything is constantly vibrating, and the reason being for that, because if say with something that's dead, it doesn't move, it's still, But if it's in function, all right, if it's in function, that means it has to be moving. All right, in order to stay alive, you have to move. It has to vibrate. So, I'm gonna get some precepts, which, if I can mention it, the vibrations are based on the sound a letter or word makes when vibrating on the vocal cords in the mouth. All right, let's get this though. This is Tahoyim, Psalms chapter 69, and we get verse 34. All right, and it reads, it says, "Let the heaven and earth praise him, the seas and everything that moveth therein." Everything that moveth therein, it has to move. If it's alive, it's praising the Lord. Even the wicked, on the left hand side, they're serving the Lord on the left hand side. It says Ramash. It says move lightly, vibration. All right, to glide about of water animals. All right, even with the plants, trees. I mean, they vibrate as well. Everything serves the Lord in a sense. All right, it's a lot. All right, let's get Mashoya, Proverbs chapter 16, verse 4. It says, "The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil." Hey, so the wicked, they was reserved for the day of evil. Everything that the Lord created has a purpose. All right, let's get this. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11. Let's get verse 24. It says, "For thou lovest all things that are, and abhorrest nothing which thou hast made. For never wouldest thou have made anything if thou hadst hated it." It says, and how could anything have endured if it had not been by thy will, or been preserved if not called by thee? All right, ultimately everything is consistent off the word of the Lord. The Lord can say, to the end of this, he can say, no, end this, and everything will be ended. Everything is on the will of the Lord, you see, and it's the will of the Lord to reserve the wicked for the day of evil. All right, and that's essentially how the Lord, how the wicked praise the Lord on the left-hand side, because everything gives praise to the Lord, whether it be a dog, a tree, some grass, everything has a vibration to it, So let's get and also speaking that vibration to like the plants, the animals and stuff like that, it actually gives vitality to them. When you say it, being that everything that's living is made of water, that vibration, it makes them feel good. It ultimately brings back forth life. You see, and that's why ultimately in the kingdom, we're gonna go back to using the Halashwan Kodash, the holy tongue, because it's gonna be nothing but life. All right, so let's get Colossians chapter 1. Let's get verse 13. It says, "Who hath delivered us from the power of darkness, and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are on earth, that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist." All right, so all things are consisting by Yahweh Shah, because he was given that power. All right, let's get this. This is Ibarium Hebrews. Ibarium Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." All right, it all goes back to the faith. "For by it the elders obtain a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear." All right, because ultimately everything, it was made through the faith. All right, the things that we can see, it was made through faith, by speaking it into existence. All right, because of that faith, essentially that was it. Your energy introduces you, before you even say a word, which goes into that positive self-talk. When you think about words, all right, when you use words, they all have a certain vibration on your body, on your spirit, all right, and it ultimately rises your vibration when you use those positive words. I'm gonna close it out with this. This is Mashallah, back to Mashallah, Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. It says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." So whatever you're speaking out into the world, all right, that's ultimately what you're going to eat of. All right, I'm gonna go to verse 20. It says, "A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled." So the actions, the words, the stuff that you push out into the world, that's what you ultimately going to receive. All right, if you're speaking life, you're going to receive life. If you're speaking death, you're going to receive destruction. La Amar to say again, we went over to speak life, Dabar Chaya, all right, Dabar, speak Chaya, life. So Adawan Tazaza Banayapa, Lord's will, that was a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wadawan Tazah Adam Yashuwan Tawa. Hey, Lord's will, you have a good day. Call light and lie, Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shabasham, Racha Kodash. Hey, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that told me this truth from Ruel. Much respect to you bros out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. Hayawam Tawa, which is good day. Wa Yahweh Mahar, La Bachayar, may God's peace to the elect. Shalom, shalom.